Hello and welcome to the Seamless.AI daily training webinar. We really appreciate everyone joining us today and look forward to getting started here shortly. We will jump in just a few minutes after the hour here. This is a group training today, so right around 3 or 4 after the hour, we'll get started with our demo. Just want to give everyone a few moments to get situated and just to get settled in here before we kick things off. But while we're doing that, I did want to share just a couple of things. So first, wanted to introduce who's going to be walking you through the demo here today. My name is Jake Phillips. I'm the VP of Product here at Seamless.AI, and really looking forward to sharing the insights, tips, and tricks, and best practices of how to use the Seamless platform, as well as some further insights around just leveraging Seamless data in general. We are really excited about all the feedback that we get here on these calls too. Me personally, it helps to drive the roadmap and to make sure we're building the best possible solution for our end users. So definitely, as we progress here throughout this demonstration, let us know if you have any questions, and I'll go over how to do that as well here momentarily. But also joining me is David Toll. David is our Director of Customer Success, and he is really responsible for making sure all of the touch points with our end customers, whether it's the help center or the support tickets and the support system that we have, are as effective and as seamless, pun intended, as possible. Just making sure that we can provide the best service and best support and success to our customers. So he's going to be walking us through the demo here today and sharing really all of what we hear from our customers in terms of best practices and how our most successful customers are using the Seamless.AI platform. So we've really tailored this demonstration around those customers and those clients that we have are using this to great success, because we model everything that we do after the success of our customers on this platform. And as I mentioned, if you do have any questions or want us to clarify any areas while we're going over the demo here today, the best way to get in touch with us is at the bottom of your video screen. You're going to see a button that says Q&A. That Q&A button actually will allow you to type in a question that you might have, whether it's a question about something we're going over at the moment or something completely different that you already have in your head that you wanted to get answered in this demonstration, or just something you want us to clarify or go into a little bit more detail on, even a feature request, or hey, does Seamless do this, or hey, it'd be great if Seamless did this. We want to make sure that coming out of today, you're giving us the next 60 minutes of your day, that we make the most use of that time. So share with us through that Q&A button anything that you have that's top of mind, and we'll do our best to make sure that we cover that in the demonstration here today in one of two ways. We'll either do it directly through the course of the demonstration, and David will share answers directly as we go through the walkthrough, or I will also be manning the Q&A on the back end, and I can provide support tickets, or I can provide direct responses via a text back response there in that Q&A button. So use that liberally. Make sure you take advantage of the next 60 minutes and get the most out of this as you can, because we want to make sure coming out of today, you are ready to go, ready to succeed. We do have additional sources if you have questions coming out of today that David will share, but we want to make sure that today is as fruitful and as useful as possible. And finally, just again, we thank you for the time that you're giving us here over the next 60 minutes to get to know the company and get to know Seamless, the platform, a little bit more. So with that being said, at this point, I'll go ahead and pass things over to my colleague, David Toll, who will go ahead and get us kick-started. We're right about 3 or 4 after the hour in running through the demonstration here today. So David, go ahead and take it away.
Awesome, Jake. Thank you so much for the introduction, and thank you everybody for joining us for today's training webinar. We're excited to get you fully up to speed on the platform so you can start tackling lead generation. We know it might be a short week for a lot of people with the holiday coming up, but really proud of you all for being here and making sure you stay focused and take advantage of every working day you have left before the end of the year to close as much business as possible and to generate as much pipeline as possible. So we will make sure to cover the most valuable content for you on this 1 hour. As Jake mentioned, please make use of the Q&A. We definitely want to personalize this session as much as we can and provide value to everybody who's attending. We're going to cover plenty of pro tips and best practices. We'll start by going through the search engines that are available here on the app that you see before you, the contact search and the company search, and we'll go through a couple of different ways you can use those. We'll also take a look at your settings in your Seamless.AI account to map out some ways you can personalize your experience and tie Seamless into the rest of your technology stack to build as many efficiencies as you can. And then we'll finish by taking a look at our Chrome extension, which, as you can see, I have installed right here. The Chrome extension is going to let you take the power of our real-time search, research, and validation process away from this application and out into the rest of your digital experience, into your CRM, onto company websites, into LinkedIn and its suite of products. So we'll make sure to cover that and show you as many different ways to search as we can, and then help evaluate the best way for you to move forward based on your goals, your campaigns, your audience, to figure out what's the right combination of search tactics for you to target your audience. There are people out there who need your products and services. Their lives will be made better by your products and services. You will make the world a better place. You'll close more business. Everybody wins. You just have to find them. And with the power of real-time search, you have that at your disposal. So that's an overview of what we'll cover today, but I want to make sure we touch on what's going to be most valuable. So please, like we said, use that Q&A, throw out some questions or some use cases you want to make sure we touch on, and we'll make sure to address those to tailor the session to you and everybody else on the call as we go. A couple of quick features. Jake mentioned that I would highlight these, and I always do because they're near and dear to my heart as the leader of our CS operation. But I also want to make sure you have access to us moving forward so you can keep the conversation going. Whether you need help or you have ideas or you just need a refresher on how everything works, right down here in the bottom right-hand corner, this help button is going to be your friend. If you click on that, you're going to be able to search our entire knowledge management system right here within the app. All of our articles, training, webinars, on-demand video training, instruction guides, etc., all of it's going to be right here for you to peruse, check out videos, and then this icon right up here will allow you to populate an external window to open the knowledge base and browse it at large. We got lots of learning tracks in here, 101, straightforward, getting started. If you're ready for more advanced search strategies, we have that there as well. Product updates like the ability to find contacts anywhere. Podcasts like our founder, Brandon Bernanson, his Sales Secrets from the Top 1% podcast. He's sitting down with sales leaders twice a week to bring back what's happening out there in the space right now. What are they doing? What scripts are they using? What tactics are they deploying to grow their businesses exponentially? And then bring that knowledge back to you and the rest of our community of users so you can not only get the lead generation data you need, but access to knowledge and leadership that'll help you grow your business. And then if you scroll down, tons of different units of learning here, lots of resources to leverage to make sure you're self-sufficient. Then video training, we're actually going to post a recording of this webinar right here in our daily webinars recording section. So if you want to come back and leverage this particular session, it's going to be here. We normally get them posted within 24 to 48 hours. So make sure to check back up. If you want to get this particular session in front of somebody in your organization or your network, you're going to be able to do that. And then, if you don't find the answer you're looking for, which again, knowledge base is pretty extensive, but there's always something. Or look, if you just want to talk to somebody, hit contact us. This is going to create a ticket that'll go right to our CS team. If you're on an unlimited license, you are going to get priority support. You're going to get to cut the line a little bit. Let us know why you're reaching out, and please don't limit it to technical support. If you need strategic support, if you need help getting more results, if you need help determining accuracy when it comes to data, if you need help moving into this data into the next stage of your sales and marketing funnel, we're here to help with that. So give us a shout. Let us know what we can do to help. Attach files. We love to look at videos of how you're searching and what you're trying to accomplish so we can provide pro tips. We might send you a video back. So yeah, keep the conversation open. Let us know if there's anything and everything we can do to help. You can submit a ticket right down there. And then finally, these tours are available throughout the app as well. So this is going to be dynamic across the app. No matter what page you're on, you're going to be able to quickly pull up a walkthrough of whatever that part of the site is, right? So if we're on the main search page, Jake will walk you through how to run through the main search. And then this is going to be dynamic across the site. So we'll show you a couple of other instances like that too. When we release new products, you'll see those tours actually automatically populate. If you see that pop up all of a sudden, if you're like me, you're going to see the pop up, you're going to click out of it. That's what I do, right? The good news is if you want to come back and review it on your own time, just click on that tour icon. That'll have you covered. All right, so I think we're going to dive into how to search. We'll dovetail from that into what exactly our search engine is doing in the background to pull in results in real time and then validate those results in real time as well, so that you're getting accurate lead data in seconds, and then talk about how to organize that data too. Before we dive in and start running some practice searches to demonstrate the product and talk more about that, I want to call back something I just said a second ago. I said search engine, right? I said search engine. We always make sure to highlight this in all of our demos, because if you have been working in sales and marketing long enough, pretty much the only solutions that were available to you when it came to lead generation at scale like this, talking thousands of leads a day, you had to go to a database style solution. You had to. That was the solution in the marketplace. That was pretty much it, right? We know some of those organizations are. Some of you have worked with them. Some of you are currently still working with them. And look, they're great at what they do. Large manual databases that are run by massive teams do generate a lot of overhead, and they have to manually upkeep on those databases to make sure everything's up to date. The problem is that if you limit yourself to those, and the limitation you run into, you're going to run into folks that aren't tracked by that manual process, right? Those databases are actually having somebody go out and call that number, check that email, and that's where a lot of their costs come from. It's all stuff that if you go out there by yourself, you'll find it. You know, you can take the time to go out there and find people's contact data. That's what our founder and CEO, Brandon Bernanson, was doing when he developed the prototype that eventually led to this product. He was selling for companies like Google and IBM using a database style solution. And by going out and doing his homework after hours and researching leads and going and using real-time search manually to find more contacts, he found that he was missing 80 to 90% of his total addressable market by relying on a third-party database. So we're not a database. We're a search engine. We're not a database. Sometimes people will ask us, hey, how many professionals in this field do you have in your database? We'll have to walk it back and say, that's actually not what we are. We are a real-time search engine that gets you the same data, but in real time. So you don't have to wait 4 months for a database to update somebody to their current job if they get moved into a new role or move to a new company. As soon as that data hits your contact's digital footprint, we're going to get it. It's going to be reflected in your real-time search results. So we always make sure to touch on that at the beginning of every training session, because if you've been using a database, you're probably used to using a database, and you have built-in habits and ingrained behaviors that you need when you're working in a database, but you don't need when you're working with real-time search. You can break out of some of those habits. So as we share what our most successful customers have done and help build a blueprint for you to follow that helps you replicate their success, that's one of the things that we're going to call out. We're going to call out those aspects where they've been able to treat this like a search engine, embrace the power of real-time search and automation and AI validation, and leave behind some of the behaviors that they built and trained themselves on using a database. Let's dive into the search and I'll show you what I mean. So for companies, right now we're in our contact search, right? I've got 4 filters: titles, companies, keywords, and names. You might notice there's another search over here, find companies. We will touch on this a little bit later. I'm going to run contacts first, but I do want to call something out real quick. You'll see right over here, right? Companies. You can search for companies by industry. You can search for companies by location. One question that I know we'll get is, yeah, but how do I find people by location, people by industry? We have tons of customers who run territory-based searches. It's an extremely common use case. We will show you how to do that. But I want to call out the difference here, right? This is searching for companies by those attributes, and the direct contact search in the app, these are the fields we can work with. We will show you how to search by location here later on in the demo, but I just wanted to make sure I called that out. Let's take a look at searching by company. If I know that I want to search for people at Nike, for instance, we have exact matching in place. So you see how I had that drop down in place there to pick an exact value. So I can pick the exact value to make sure I have the exact company matching running for me. You can search up to 10 companies at a time, and you can also search for multiple titles. Now this is where some of this search behavior is going to come into play, these power user pro tips. So I'm probably going to try to hit the C-suite, right? I'm going to try to make sure I'm contacting decision makers, people of influence. But if I'm using a database, I'm probably not going to go for these extra titles, right? I'm probably going to just limit myself to CEO or VP. I might even limit myself to CEO if I'm using a database and not a search engine. Because if I'm using a database, I have to be extraordinarily cost conscious. I know that I'm paying my way up the organizational ladder because of the way their model works. And I'm going to end up paying more for a CEO's mobile phone than I am for somebody else's. So I have to be careful. I have to be very thoughtful. I have to be very selective about which titles I search for. I have to be slow. I have to really take time that I don't have to be very precise in how I search. That's not the way our data works. We've democratized the data so that if you're on an unlimited license, you're not going to be charged any more for any of these individuals' contact numbers. So what our most successful customers have done is cast a wide net. They've gone beyond one or two steps beyond the circles that they normally search for to say, I want to give myself every opportunity to connect with this organization that I can. And there may be some directors or some managers out there that are decision makers and have that autonomy. I'm going to include them in my search because it's going to be easy for me to run this search and save those contacts and get everybody in there who could potentially be an influencer, a decision maker, anybody who's going to give me a leg up. There's no reason for me not to cast a wide net and get all that lead data because we've democratized it and you're not going to pay more for anybody's individual contacts. Keywords help you cast an even broader net. So the keyword function goes beyond title and gets into their digital footprint. So if it's in their biography, if it's in their company profile, if there's news media that associates them with those keywords, then they're going to be pulled up. The keyword also has some Boolean logic associated with it. So here's an interesting use case to demonstrate that, right? You can use, I want to not search for this or this, search for this and this. So I was working with a customer, and they wanted to search for folks who were either going to hit the product or marketing keyword match, right? Folks who were in either of those spaces. But there was one title they didn't want to hit, product marketing. Product marketing was a very specific title they wanted to avoid, a very specific skill set that didn't match their audience, even though product or marketing does match. So this search is going to pull in folks in product or marketing, but it's going to eliminate anybody who has the exact phrase product marketing in their digital footprint. So you can get creative here. We have more documentation on how to use the keyword filter in our knowledge base so that you can both cast a wide net, but also selectively limit your audience so that if there are keywords that you don't want to pull in, you can still perform that work and make sure you're focused on the right context while still casting a wide net. All right, let's go ahead and run this search so we can talk more about what's happening when you perform a search and bring in potential context. So right off the bat, before I can even tell you what happened, there's your first page of potential results. So what we did, we researched over 750 million contacts, 2 million websites to bring you potential prospects that match your search parameters. Company, title, right? Now, if I hit find on any of this, I'm going to start pulling in these companies, right? It's pulling in these contacts. I'm going to be able to get their email, their phone number, the website, intelligence on that contact. Before you search for anybody, right, the one thing I'm going to tell you to do every single time, no matter where you're researching the contact from, set a default list. This feature up here allows you to save or create new lead lists that help you keep your data organized. The reason I'm going to say really highlight the importance right now is when you get to exporting your data, when you get to importing it into your CRM, having it organized like this is going to be extraordinarily valuable. So I'm going to go ahead. I have a pre-saved list here for Nike DM. I'm going to go ahead and get that saved. And now when I find a contact here, it's going to automatically populate them onto that Nike DM list. And while it's researching, I'll call out a question that we just got because it's a good one, right? You'll notice there are 10 contacts per page. Somebody asked, are there plans to have more than 10 contacts show up at a time? Good question. That's something we can keep working toward. We've continuously been able to expand some aspects of that help support the infrastructure we have in place for real-time search that helps us continue to keep the product affordable, keep it scalable. So it's all a question of what are we going to be able to do to continuously build on some of these parameters like 10 results per page. For instance, you can search 10 companies in one search. Used to be 5. So we're always looking for ways to expand some of these attributes. I will show you how to pull some searches that can get you up to 25 results per page using our Chrome extension in Sales Navigator. So there is actually a way, if you're a Sales Navigator customer as well, to go beyond this 10 contact per page limit. But that actually goes into my next point here, which is the Find All button. Right? So I just found this contact by hitting that individual Find button. Remy's contact information was saved. Right? This Find All button is also going to be your friend if you're looking to move fast. Before we touch on that, let's take a look at the contact information here. I'm going to click on his email. And this gives you a quick peek at the back end of what we're pulling in real time to research and validate this contact to get you the best possible information you can use to reach out to Remy. So we're finding company phone numbers, contact phone numbers, email addresses. And you can see if you want to review this multi-step AI validation process, once you hit find, this is what kicks in. This multi-step process by which we are automating researching email, social media, global web, website, news media, all of these sources are coming into play to help us rank all of the information that we find on this contact, all the potential phone numbers for company contact, all the potential email addresses. On the email front, we're even going so far as to send a validation signal to the server at Nike.com, basically a virtual email that we're pinging over to the server to make sure we can track that response and bring it back. And that's immediately, if we get a valid response back, that AI score is going to shoot up to 99%. We're going to tell you you're good to go. And we're going to test every single email that we find. So if they're marked as invalid, we're going to tell you that. As you can see, there are many more emails here, lots of phone numbers. We're going to show you everything that we find, but we're going to prioritize the contact data that passes muster with this multi-step AI validation process. You can always hop in here if you want to learn more about that, including the guided tour feature that I told you about earlier, right? If you click on that, Jake's going to give you a quick chatbot style tour. All right, so jumping into the Find All button, right? Because if you're on a free license, if you're still on the free version of the product and you're kind of testing it out, you probably are going to want to move through these pages and find individual contacts like this. That makes sense. I know that you got to count your credits and make sure that you're managing that. But once you move on to the unlimited license, what our power users do, and I think what I want you to do, Find All. Use this Find All button. That'll search everybody on this page, and it is 10 per page, but here's what you can do next. We're going to run the search again as soon as you hit this next button up here. So now we have another page of results. So that question earlier about 10 contacts per page, that's correct. If you get good at hitting next and Find All in rapid succession, you're doing something right. You're acting like a power user. Don't wait for that researching button to go away. Hit next, move on to the next round. And you can take this all the way to the end of your results, so you have all of these contacts searched. Now, once these contacts are saved, they're going to be available here in My Contacts, and they're all going to be on that Nike DM list because I set that as my default right up here. So a couple of other attributes you have here. If you want to be able to link right out to their LinkedIn profile, Twitter, Facebook, etc., you can do that. You can probably see that we're pulling in company location data. If we have individual contact location data, we will bring it in. In some cases, if it's not found as part of our real-time search, we're prioritizing email and phone data, right? But we're pulling in a lot of other information when it's available and when we can get it in the right way to give you as much to work with as you possibly can. And good, I just saw another quick question, which I'm glad I saw. Is there a way to see how far out the search goes, like if it pulls up 50 contacts in total? It's a great question. We might get to that at some point. Right now, we want to be real with you about what the results could potentially be. Every time you hit next up here, we're running the search again in real time, right? So that's the benefit that you get. You get the benefit of running the search in real time so that it's completely up to date with what's happening in your market. Now, if you're looking for a count of how many contacts you have on this campaign so far, even though that count is not available down here, we could probably postulate something and give you a number, but it wouldn't necessarily be accurate. We want to be real with you about what your search results could potentially be. Keep hitting that next button, keep moving through that campaign, and then when you move over to My Contacts, this is where you can start to get a count. So you can see down here, I've got 6,000 contacts saved in my account so far. Now, if I want to isolate that to this campaign that I'm working right now for Nike, I can do that by using these filters up here that are now available on the columns. So in search, no filtering. In My Contacts, I can filter. For instance, I can filter by that lead list. So if I just want to look at that Nike DM list, I can hit that checkbox, hit apply, and now I'm just looking at those contacts that are on that list. So I've got 47 so far. So maybe I want to keep going. Maybe I want to hop back into search and keep going through those results to keep building up that lead list. I haven't hit my goal yet, as you can see up here. We'll touch on how that's getting calculated. I know you might be wondering that. We'll get there. Don't worry. Other filters you can deploy here that are really useful if you want to filter by company. So let's say you have these lead lists in place, right? But some of them have not been company based. Maybe they've been more territory based, or they've been more industry based. But now you want to just import or download a company. You can do that as well. The same company matching that's in place here is going to be available to you in that filter. And then these filters are really, really helpful. I highly recommend using them if you're going to be exporting data just to save yourself some time, depending on what kind of campaign you're going to run. So if you're running an email campaign, save yourself some time and click Includes Validated Business Email. If you're just focusing on email, click this. It's only going to include emails that pass our validation process. Anything that was marked as invalid is not going to be included. If you didn't check that, you might get some contacts where we had phone numbers, but not email. Conversely, if you're running a direct dial campaign, make sure you click this box because, in some cases, we weren't able to find a contact number that we could validate and pass muster as part of our real-time search. So we're going to be real with you about that. We're going to make that part of the data set. If you just want to focus on contact phone, for example, and make sure they have one in your data set, you can apply that. See, now I'm just focused on the 44 contacts that include a number instead of the 47 total. Now, once I have these filters applied, I can go up here and I can download my data. Now, if I remove those filters, I can download everything, right? So there's a couple different ways you can download and export into an Excel spreadsheet. If you download all clean, that's going to give you tons of data, but it's going to focus on the first 3 phone numbers and the first 3 email addresses that passed our validation process, right? So if you want the rest of these emails for some reason, which, hey, you might. We have some customers who are like, they're hardcore data hounds. They want everything, every bit of data, validated or not. That's available to you. We make that transparent. You can use the raw file for that. But download all again would download everything, all 6,000 contacts. If it's me, I just want to download the Nike campaign. That's it. And I just want to download the ones that pass that filter for the contact phone. So I'm going to hit download filter in that case, right? And that's going to give me an Excel spreadsheet that includes tons of data, probably more than I need, but at least it's going to focus on these top 3 phone numbers and emails. The download's also going to include contact details, contact intelligence. So this is available both in search and in my contacts, in addition to all the social media access you get here. And I'm going to touch on it because it's kind of a secret weapon of the product that probably not enough customers use, but you can get a leg up if you take advantage of it. In some ways, it's a good place to go and review and a point of reference for all of the places that we're trying to touch to make sure we're providing up-to-date, real-time information on your prospects and on the companies that you're tracking and the accounts that you're trying to grow, right? So what our team uses this for, and what our most successful customers use this for, is a place to come in. If you're going to be the person reaching out to Jill, if you're going to cold call Jill, if you're going to cold email Jill, you got to know her. You got to know what's going on at her company. You got to know what she's posting about. Where else has she worked? What does she value? What problems is she trying to solve? What is she posting about? What is she an advocate for, a thought leader on? The more you know about what you can do to make Jill's life better right off the bat, the easier it's going to be to start the conversation and for her to see that you're going to help make her life better. So contact intelligence lets you intelligently script your pitch and your template to make sure you're going to get that conversation off on the right foot. And look at all the company data that's available here. If you want to be able to reference what's going on with Nike financially, what kind of paid search keyword intelligence is out there, what kind of website audits, social media mentions, employee reviews, job postings, Alexa score, it's all here. And all of this is going to be in that data download. It's also available to map to your CRM. So let's go ahead and take a look at those CRM mappings so you can understand how those work. As you can see, I already have an automatic import turned on with Salesforce. So when I click on that cloud, I had this working in the background the whole time. All of these contacts, they're already in my Salesforce instance. They're automatically added to my Nike account. There's duplication checking that's already in place. I can change my mapping to make sure all of these fields are updated with Seamless.AI data. You see, I've already got a couple different phone numbers in here, all kinds of stuff, right? So let's see. I'm going to take a quick pause, look for questions, and then we're going to jump into the CRM setting just because we are getting to around 4:30. So make sure you keep those questions coming. I saw a good one here. If needed, can I jump on a call with someone to walk me through something? A good question. That's really why we hold these webinars, to make sure you have a live setting in which we can run through a Q&A and get you set up. Really, that kind of continuous personalized training is definitely something that we offer as your team grows. So if you're ready for you and your team, if you're at that point where you've got more than 10 people using Seamless.ai, reach out to us. Make sure you're getting that enterprise level of support. We'll run quarterly business reviews. We'll work closely with you to make sure that you have the right strategies in place. So as you grow and as you add licenses to your team and more people in your business are leveraging Seamless.ai, then we can absolutely help provide support in line with that. So that is something that becomes available at those elevated levels of support. And then another good question here, can you give an example if you were just searching a particular vertical instead of a company? Yes, we will definitely touch on that. If it's okay with a person who asked that question, I'm going to dive into some of the CRM settings first because we're right here in the app. But yes, that is on the agenda. We are going to look at how to search by vertical, how to search by territory, since as you can see, I don't have those as filters here in contacts, but I will have them when I use our social search and our Chrome extension. So we're almost there. So quickly, I'll touch on the CRM integrations and the settings, just so you have what you need as far as with this personalization. So if you go to settings, this is going to give you a good walkthrough on how to get your account in place and get everything personalized. Quick tour, that'll actually take you right back out to the Knowledge Management Center, our 101 learning track, easy peasy. Make sure you have the 5 most important features enabled, including our Chrome extension, which is actually highlighted right here too. So this link will take you directly out to the Chrome store where our Chrome extension is available for download into your browser. If you don't have the Chrome extension installed right now, don't wait. Go download it now while you're on the webinar. Get a window open, go download the Chrome extension. You got to have it installed. The power, the ability to take that with you outside of the app into Sales Navigator, into LinkedIn Standard Premium, into LinkedIn Recruiter, into your CRM, into company websites. We're going to touch on it here in a second, but don't wait for me to show it to you. Just get it installed. You have to have it in play. And then finally, add to CRM. So we currently have direct integrations with Salesforce, HubSpot, and Outreach. We are working on more. We've got a big old pipeline of integrations that we have lined up, and we're excited to get rolled out. And we really have the ambition to connect to everything and anything in the tech space. It's going to help you maintain as many efficiencies as you can. If you look over here in connected apps, in addition to those direct integrations that you can toggle back and forth in between, they're all one-click integrations. All you have to do is provide your credentials, and it's all done. If you are looking to tie in additional product, Zapier is going to be a good way to go. If you're not familiar with their product, we are part of their ecosystem. Zapier is a third party that creates connective tissue between different technology solutions. So you don't have to know how to write a line of code. You don't have to build a direct integration. But you have access to the API call, and you can just copy and paste it in here into your Zapier account. Then you can fire automations that trigger actions in different apps, like if-then kind of things, right? Like if lead is saved in Seamless and email is validated, then add it to a MailChimp campaign, or then send a notification out to a Slack group, or then add to a ClickFunnels campaign, or add to Pipedrive, or add to Zoho, or add to a SalesLoft cadence. Thousands of apps in the ecosystem. So all of those automations are at your disposal. If you want to start tying together some efficiency gains and you are a Zapier customer, we are in that ecosystem. You could do that. If you're not a Zapier user yet, I'd get in there and check it out because there are just so many ways you can automate. Our VP of product, when he was setting some of this up, he had an integration firing that every time he saved a lead to Seamless, it was automatically sending an email through Gmail to get the prospecting going, right? Get some messaging out in front of them right now, not waiting. Automating as much of that part as possible so you can save that time, give it back to yourself, and use it to connect with customers, use it to connect with prospects. Now we'll work on more integrations because Zapier is great, but we want to give you a greater ability to map data from your Seamless.AI account into your CRM. So let's look at CRM setup just so you can see some of what's available in here. I know not everybody is going to be applying the CRM integration, but huge efficiency gains to be made on this front, including automatically importing to a CRM. So the experience here is pretty similar to what you see at HubSpot, what you see at Outreach. We'll be replicating it across the board with some variations, right? Like we need to know what kind of import type you need for Salesforce. But the automatic import is great. I actually would recommend maybe setting this to no, though, right off the bat when you're first getting started, because that way you can get your mapping exactly the way you want it. So all of your Salesforce account fields, all of your contact fields, rather, are all here. Once you perform that one-click integration, they're all available as mapping points for your Seamless.ai data. So we have some mappings that come right out of the box, like the ones you see here. You can also add new mapping. So one pro tip, if you're doing a lot of call campaigns, right? I've got contact phone mapped here automatically, but we're bringing in other phone numbers too, right? So do yourself the service of getting all of that data in place so that, let's say that first phone number, maybe that ends up being an office line, maybe it's not the best connection you were hoping for. Sometimes a second phone number does the trick. Get that data in there. Give your team more than one opportunity to call out if they're going to prospect this person, right? Because you have the data, you search for it, you research it, you found it, make sure it's all accessible. right? So that you and your team can make informed decisions about how to reach out. Other features here as well, we are automatically looking for duplicates at an account level and at a contact level. You can determine how you want that to happen within here to make sure it fits with your Salesforce instance or your HubSpot or your Outreach. You can also set this to only import contacts that have or rather, don't import any contacts that had an invalid email response. So if you know you're going to be focused on email and less focused on calls, you can just set this to suppress anything that created an invalid response, and don't even bring that data in, right? So lots of options here on how to map. I think we'll come back and take a look at a couple of other features in here that you can use to personalize the account over on this side. But I do want to jump into the Chrome extension because I think it's going to help a lot of folks on the call. So we'll pivot a little bit here, and we'll see if we have a chance to come back to some of that content to help you out. But I want to dive right into the Chrome extension because based on the questions you guys have asked so far, I think it's going to be helpful to jump right to that, and that'll help articulate some of that. So we've walked through the whole process for the contact search, right? We looked at the automated import for the CRM. The last thing I'll touch on before I get into the Chrome extension here. If you have the automatic import turned on, great. It's automatically going to go to Salesforce, but you can also do the same thing that we did for downloading data. If you just want to import in bulk and you don't want everything to automatically go through, but you want a chance to filter it in Seamless, you can do that using this import button. Once the integration is deployed, import will allow you to import filtered, or if you just want to pick and choose here, I know some teams will do that. They'll be very selective about who actually goes into Salesforce after they've searched. You can import selected. So lots of different ways you can get data into your CRM or into a spreadsheet. But as you're searching for it, right, if you're looking to target, say, this population and say, this is getting me part of the way there. I have my titles that I'm targeting, I have my company that I'm targeting, but I'm really just trying to find them like at headquarters, right? I'm just looking for folks in Oregon. So you'll see over here in company search, you'll see locations here, right? One thing I want to call out, because I've seen some people try to make these two searches work together a little more that is probably viable right now. We do have some ways that you can use both. This company search, it's really designed if you're building on a list of named accounts. So if you are, for instance, and see how there's a technographics filter. So if you're looking for folks that use competitors of yours and you want to build out target companies that match those parameters, you can do that in here. You can also target by location. You can just target the US if you want, for instance. You can target companies. If I'm just looking for like architecture, I can search. I can find companies that match my parameters. Now, I can build lists of companies that I can save and continue to work if my responsibility is to find accounts that'll match these parameters. And then, too, you can use the find button. So there is a way, if I want to find people, say at Perkinsville, I can hit find. And it's going to automatically add them as a company in my title search, right? So that's one way I could get there. I could find companies that match my vertical or companies that match my location and then add them to my contacts one by one. You can even actually find all, now that I think about it. You can find all and add all 10 at once. That's one way to do it. If I'm being honest, I actually think that's a little labor intensive. If you're already running lists of named accounts, makes perfect sense. Go ahead and do it this way because some of these filters are really valuable. Technographics, for instance, that's really useful to be able to find companies that are using your competitors. But if all I'm trying to do is just find folks at Nike that match these titles, I'm going to use social search because I have the Chrome extension installed. So here's how that works. When I click social, it's going to automatically populate my search in LinkedIn Standard, and the Chrome extension is designed to layer directly over the LinkedIn search results experience. So I still have my same default list that I had selected from before. I can select from multiple default lists. I can even add other ones. And the Find All button is still there. So I can still be a power user, hit Find All, and all of these contacts are going to be researched in real time and sent back to Seamless.AI. Now, I didn't touch it. All I did there was touch the Find All button, right? It scrolled down the page on its own, and you can hit Next just like you can in the app and hit Find All again once it populates. Because it's a Chrome extension, right, it's not directly integrated into LinkedIn. We're layering it over multiple experiences across your digital workflow, and we're going to wait for the LinkedIn page to load, and then you're going to be able to hit Find All. Scroll back up, and here's what's happening in real time. Back in my contacts, all of them are being researched and saved just like before, right? Check that out. All right. So we had that question earlier about results per page. right? So the Chrome extension works in LinkedIn standard. It also works in Sales Navigator. It also works in Recruiter. Sales Navigator and Recruiter are premium products, but we are going to take a look at how that process works because we've had so many customers that use the product in Sales Navigator or in Recruiter, and they just have such a great experience using it. You don't have to. If I'm going to target, for instance, by location here, I can do that. If I just want to look for Portland within the standard search, I can hit apply, and now I've got it zeroed in to a particular location. I can make sure that I'm looking at Nike, and I have other filters available here too. So if I do, for instance, want to focus on a particular vertical, I can do that. All of that's available to LinkedIn Standard Search. And really what you're doing here is you're running the search results through LinkedIn, and the research is still being performed by Seamless.AI. So if you have a vertical or a segment or an audience or a territory that you really want to hone in on, this is how our customers are doing that today. They're using other tools like LinkedIn or Sales Navigator to conduct that very thorough segmentation and then using us to research the data. I can still even create new lists from within here, within the experience as well. So if I just want to have Nike DM Portland, I can find everybody on this list. But let's take a look at some of the advantages of Sales Navigator. Like I said, it's a premium product of LinkedIn's. We use it, to be totally transparent. We think it's a great product. We do a lot of our searches using Sales Navigator and the Chrome extension. So do thousands of our customers. We love LinkedIn. We think they have a great suite of products here. And we actually have some pro tips built into some of their standards and practices that'll help you be a good LinkedIn user, use our product, and get the most out of both product sets and get as much value as you can. So as you can see here, it's set up with the CEO, VP, Director keywords I already searched for, but I've got tons of other filters that I can deploy here, right? I've got seniority level. I can filter in by a particular zip code if there's a radius that I'm trying to work within. I can look by connections, groups, posted content keywords. There's tons of stuff that I can use to filter in here. And I can also save searches. So I love this about Sales Navigator. If I've got a dentist list that I'm running, it's going to save my parameters and tell me when I have new contacts that match those. It's going to, in real time, bring them back to me. And then the Find All button works in Sales Navigator just like it does in the rest of the experience. So if I want to view all results, just to show you how this works, right? So I'm looking at United States, company headcount. I can expand on that and target a different set if I want to. I've got title. And then when I can hit a new list here or add to an existing list, just like we saw before. I can get to dentist. And then when I hit find all, more results per page. That's one of the biggest value adds of Sales Navigator too. Not just the more robust filters, but the ability to search for more contacts per page. And it's the same experience, right? Scrolling down the page on its own, finding all those contacts, bringing them back into Seamless.ai. And when I hop back into my contacts, all of them being research populated, a lot of them are already in here. So really powerful combination of tools. Like I said, we have a lot of customers who do this. It's one of the reasons why we spend time on it to demonstrate it, even though Sales Navigator isn't our product. We want you to be successful. We want you to have the blueprint that has helped our most successful customers have massive results, change their lives, and get to the life they want, the job they want, the car they want, the house they want, whatever it is they're trying to achieve, right? We want that for you too. So Sales Navigator's at your disposal. A couple of pro tips up here, total results, right? If you're used to Sales Navigator, if you're already a customer, you know that if you try to move through all 1,800 of these results at some point, LinkedIn's commercial use policy will probably kick in and say, hey, hold up, you've searched enough for today, why don't you come back tomorrow? We think that's a good policy, honestly. I'm not going to push back on it at all. I think it's great that LinkedIn is doing stuff like that to protect our data and prevent and make sure that everything's going along the lines that they want. Makes sense. But I don't want to have to remember where I left off, when I get stopped mid-list, right? So what I do, and we recommend all of our clients do, find a way to get this down to about 1,000, right? So maybe it's seniority level. Maybe I can find some filters here. I can just pick a couple of these that will somewhat artificially get me down below that 1,000 contact threshold, even if it's not something I was initially searching for. And then, if it's, as long as you're under that 1,000 mark, you're going to be okay. You're going to be able to keep your data organized and your searches organized as well. Something else that I would consider doing, you can find all directly from the search results. You can also select all these contacts and use Sales Navigator's product. This is a Sales Navigator feature, not us, to save it to a list. Now, when you do that, I can create a new one, right? This is going to help make sure that they're saved to your Sales Navigator account, and you are going to be able to get notifications on them based on their behavior. So if they change jobs, if they post content, you're going to be able to see that here, and you'll get notifications in Sales Navigator letting you know what they're doing. Good news, Find All button works directly over the lead list feature as well. So if you're willing to perform an extra click, save them to a lead list as you go, you'll still be able to add them to your Seamless.AI account, so you get the benefit of both tools. All the notifications you get from the lead list Sales Nav and the research capabilities of Seamless.AI. Because we're pulling in data that LinkedIn isn't going to have. We're going to have emails, we're going to have phone numbers that aren't part of LinkedIn's data set, because we're not searching LinkedIn's data set here. We're performing a global search that includes publicly available information from LinkedIn, but it's expansive. It's going beyond what you can get here, right? So you still get the benefit of researching that contact data just like you would from anywhere else. The experience is very similar in LinkedIn Recruiter. I don't have that pulled up to demonstrate, but if you use Recruiter, just know it's always exactly what you see before you hear. But really, to articulate, this is how it looks in Sales Navigator, how it looks in LinkedIn. If I go to a profile page, I'll be able to save from there as well. Hit that Find button. I can select between companies. It'll tell me if he's already added or not. But that's not the extent of this, right? If I'm on a company website, for instance, and I want to search this company, you could copy and paste the name into the app. You can find them on LinkedIn. But if I'm already here, then you can just click the Chrome extension, and it's going to automatically search everybody at Seamless.ai in real time. You can set a default list, just like you could before. I can filter by keyword, so if I just want to find folks on the marketing team, I can hone in on that group. We all wear a lot of hats, so a lot of us show up for marketing, which is cool. That's fine. And then Find All button works too. And I can research these contacts in real time, just like I could in the app. So I'm getting more information, phone numbers, emails. I can hit next, just like I could in the app. Find All again. Hey, there's me. Sweet. I'm going to find myself. See if I can get that done. Oh, yep, there I am. That's all accurate, guys. That's my cell phone. So now you know how to find me if you need to. But it's all here, right? Same experience in a CRM. So if part of your role is making sure that you have a thorough contact list built up for existing accounts, I would do it this way. If you're using Salesforce, if you're using HubSpot, go to an account page and open the Chrome extension and start searching. Look for people that haven't been saved yet. Get them in there. What we're doing is we're automatically pulling the name of the company by the account or by the domain. So we're helping you automatically search from within your CRM, automatically search from a company website, search from LinkedIn, search from Sales Navigator. We're trying to create as many opportunities for you to build pipeline as possible. And that extends into the app. We didn't touch on this yet, but I want to make sure you see it and you can notice it. Recommendations. This is a relatively new feature. We launched it earlier this quarter. Basically what we're doing, and this is actually happening right now during my testing, we are detecting in real time, what are you searching for, and are there other contacts that we can validate and provide to you that match your previous searches, so we can work for you in the background. You go up, you go get a cup of coffee, you go check on your car, you go for a walk around the office, whatever you're doing, you go to a meeting. We're going to keep searching in the background to make sure that you're getting more contact data based on what you've already searched for. And all you have to do is hit save, and that contact data is going to be populated right back into my contacts. We're also going to work on a version of this that will help you be more prescriptive to us. And you can tell us and set preferences around what types of recommendations you'd like us to provide so that we can be a true partner on that front. Now, going even further, we want to provide as many of these ways to search as possible, even if it's us working in the background, to help you hit your goals. We want you to be successful. That is our measure of success, you growing your business. So let's take a look at these goals and how they're calculated. I'm now in our goal tracking section of our settings. So if you're new to Seamless, you're going to hop in here and you're going to see a global rank, a global leaderboard for everybody who uses the platform. You can see where you stand across all of our users with your lead generation efforts. Now, if you're part of a team, let's say there are 5 or 6 or 10 of you all using Seamless together, I would recommend toggling this to team, because that way you can focus on each other. Hold each other accountable. Come in here and see where you sit in reference to the rest of your partners at your organization, your teammates, and look at yourself in the mirror and say, am I pulling my weight when it comes to pipeline? Am I researching enough to help us hit our goals? Where do I sit? Am I the leader? Am I number 3? How do I get to be number 1, right? Give yourself that edge to make sure you're paying attention to your pipeline. Now, you can track booked appointments here too. You can track closed business. We're not really designed to be a system of record on that front, but we want to give you a place to celebrate those. But primarily, we're about making sure you build pipeline, right? So the pipeline that's your daily nutrition. That's making your bed in the morning. It's walking your dog. It's your daily exercise. It is the foundation upon which the rest of your day is built and determines whether or not you're going to have a productive day, a productive year, month, quarter, whatever it is. So this goal is driven by the income calculator. Not a mandatory feature, but if you want to be able to track your goals and hold yourself accountable, come on in here and set your own salary. Be ambitious. Tell us how much you want to make at the end of the year. And then we need a few more inputs from you: average commission, lead booked appointment conversion rate, closed won sales conversion rate. And then once you enter that, we're going to be able to automatically tell you how many leads you need to save and research every day, every month, every year, every week to hit your goals. And if you're smart, you're not going to settle for the minimum. And I shouldn't right now, right? I'm going to 3x this. I'm going to 5x it, maybe even 10x it, to create that accountability for myself to achieve as much as I possibly can in the time given to me. It's only 4:50 on a Tuesday. I've got more time to research more leads. So I'm going to 5x this goal and get it all the way to 465. You guys saw how fast it was for me to pull a lead list in this tool. If I'm using Sales Navigator, if I'm using the Chrome extension, if I'm using all of the resources I have at my disposal, I can hit 465 by the end of the day, easily. At the end of the day, this tool is designed across the entire product, right? This gamification piece included. It's designed for everybody on the front lines of sales. We think this is the best time ever to be in sales because the technology is available for you to push the mundane tasks to the side. We can automate that now. We can automate the rote part of lead generation, which we've done, and you can focus on building relationships, closing business, making a positive impact on the people around you. When you go on LinkedIn and you see our founder Brandon talking about being on a mission to positively impact 1,000 people, a billion people, to positively impact 1 billion people, this is what he's talking about. That's not fluff. This is us saying, how can we take the power of real-time search, help you build goals to hold yourself accountable, to connect with those people, and get your products and services in the hands of people whose lives will be improved by them. That's how you get to a positive impact on 1 billion people, stimulating the world economy, stimulating growth for you. That's what that means. I know it sounds lofty, but at brass tacks, that's how we plan to accomplish it, with you, in partnership. We don't want to just be a product. We want to be a partner. And we want you to use the product every day, and we're going to track usage, and we're going to give you a shout if we think you're not using it enough. But rather than us arbitrarily deciding how much you should be using it, we want you to tell us. Tell us what your goals are. As you get closer, we'll provide more pro tips and more thought leadership along the way to help you get there. And then when it's time to celebrate closing a big deal or booking an appointment, come on up here, see the little mallet, hit the gong, give it a tap. We're going to make it rain. We're going to give you a chance to get that social proof out there. We're going to give you one of the finest, personally selected, hand-picked gifts that our product team has sourced, far and wide for. And then if you want to target how much you closed it for, and then you can get that social proof out there, right? Get the word out on LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook. I'm heating up. My product is heating up. We are getting this into the hands of people. We're making a difference. Quick pro tip on that: if you're going to use that feature, that LinkedIn link, the link that goes out to your LinkedIn, Facebook, or Twitter feed, if you have an affiliate referral set up, it'll include that. So the affiliate program allows you to create a link that you can use to market or share Seamless.AI to your network. So people outside of your organization, if you want to recommend Seamless to them, I would do it this way, because that way if they close and they end up upgrading to an unlimited license, you get some commission for that. Not a little bit, up to 40%. So all you have to do is come in here, click create, make sure your PayPal account is set up, make sure it's set up, otherwise there's nowhere for the commission to go, and then you should be all set. Now, if you want to invite folks in your team, use the user management profile. So if they're in your organization, the affiliate referral program isn't going to work for that the way it's designed, but use the user management, because that's going to help you add everybody to one comprehensive account that you can use to track team goals, where you stand, It makes it easier for you to track who's on a license right now, who's free. Even if not everybody on your team is going to be on an unlimited license right away, make sure they're added. Make sure everybody has an account with Seamless. That way it's easy for somebody to hop in. You can use this user management section to add new licenses, invite new members, either one at a time or many at once. And then you can distribute licenses accordingly so that people are getting the most out of the platform as they need it. I know we covered a lot of ground. We wanted to make sure we could touch on as many ways as possible for you to use the platform in many different places, to search by vertical, search by location, go big, go narrow, save contacts, use other technology solutions in conjunction with Seamless.AI, whether it's LinkedIn or your CRM or whatever company website you're on. We want to create as many opportunities for you to build pipeline as possible. So taking a quick look, I don't see any more questions today. Like I said earlier, I know this is, for many of you, a short week. So we'll let you go. Get out there, start searching, start building pipeline. Hold yourself accountable to lofty goals that push you to accomplish as much as you possibly can. And we will be there to partner with you along the way to make sure you're getting what you need. Keep the conversation going. Reach out to us if you need help. Reach out to us if you have ideas. Reach out to us if you're trying to use the product in new and exciting ways, and we can streamline it to make it even better. We are very, very excited, proud, thrilled, honored to be part of your success. This is going to be your biggest and best year ever. This is going to be your biggest and best week ever, your biggest and best quarter ever. 2020 is going to be massive. Make the most of 2019 while it's still here. Set yourself up for success in Q1 by getting as much pipeline in place as you can. Close as many opportunities as you can in Q4 because this time is precious. And then you'll be right there in January 1 of 2020 with a full pipeline ready to go. All right, folks. Good luck with the rest of the week. Thank you for attending. Thank you for partnering with Seamless.AI. We look forward to seeing what you accomplish. Take care.